Oh my gosh. Hey guys, it's been a while since I have connected with you. Wow, I have missed you guys. I've missed you so much. And I appreciate though that you have given me the space to allow myself to step back a minute and regroup with all the craziness that has been going on. I want to thank everybody who's popping on right now. Doom, 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 doom. Definitely pop on. It is going to be an awesome, awesome session because I'm getting ready to talk to you guys about something that's very important to me and bring you something, some news, I should say, or some expertise from an expert. And that is the owner and CEO, founder, all of that good stuff of RP Strength. But before I tell you that, I want to tell you how I found RP Strength. I want to tell you as well what fitness means to me and how it has helped me during this time. How you guys doing out there? It's been a little rough, right? A lot of emotions going up and down, and a lot of things has happened where the fitness emotions have been going up and down. People have been, unfortunately, either getting in shape or gaining more weight than they ever have. And now they feel worse after, or I should say some places after quarantine. Here in LA, we're still at stay-at-home orders. It's pretty interesting. But we'll talk about that. Anyway, I love the fact that a few months ago, I was sitting down with Nita Strauss and her boyfriend, Josh, and talking to them about my fitness and how I was hitting a plateau and how I just really wanted to get back on the train and learn new things. And that's when they introduced me to RP Strength. I looked at RP Strength on the Instagram and I couldn't believe the before and after pictures. And from that, I was completely sold. And then I had a conversation with the owner that I'm going to be bringing you on right now, Nick Daw. And from that conversation, I knew that this was a company that I wanted to align myself with and really dive into their philosophy and see how it would help with me. Now, fitness, like I said, has always been a part of my life. I know that you guys don't know me as like a wrestler or anything like that, but even when I was in the WWE as the announcer, I would always do some sort of fitness, whether it was hitting the gym, doing jump rope at ringside, or running the arena steps, or just anything to get me going. And that has definitely always helped my mind. And, you know, it helps your mind because it does stimulate a lot of cortisone, and we'll get into the deep dive of that because Nick definitely can describe that way better than me. But I know that I always felt better. Sometimes I didn't know why, but I always felt better. And then because of that, I looked better physique, which also helped me feel better. So it wasn't just physically that I felt good because I looked better, but because also mentally. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get Nick in here. He, like I said, has been in this industry for a very long time. He developed RP Strength for a reason. We're going to dive in deep as to why RP Strength is so important, why they're so different than so many of the other opportunities of fitness out there that sometimes you get bombarded and you can't figure out who the heck to go with. All right, so let me bring my friend Nick Shaw. All right, so where's Shaw? Nick Shaw, here we go. All right. Nick! What's up? Let's see. He's got to accept on his end. And we're connected.
Hello.
What's up?
How are you? Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, get it not so close to my face, so thank you.
Oh, it's okay.
This is my brand new quarantine haircut, by the way.
Is that what you
I had to
did?
cut my hair.
You just like finally just enough with it. Was it grown out long?
Long for me, so guess what?
You know
There we
what?
go.
You have the perfect, not everybody has a good shape of the head that they can do that. My husband's like, no way will you get me to do that. So it works for you, buddy.
Thank you so much. That's actually the second time I've heard that, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the shape of the head definitely makes a difference. That's cool. Well, how has quarantine been for you? And your clients? What are you hearing out there? Because I'm hearing that the average weight gain from this has been 20 pounds.
Yeah, so a lot of people are just having a rough time, and admittedly so, gyms are closed. I mean, grocery stores, it's like who knows what's going to happen if you go out to the store. So, and not to mention, the one thing above all else is just so much stress.
Yeah.
So there's just infinite amount of stress. Anywhere you look, it just seems like it's just overwhelming. And so it's really hard for people, one, to try to stick with fitness or nutrition in general
Yeah.
without stress. It's hard. Now you throw in probably the biggest, stressful 3, 4 months, in the last 50, 100 years, whatever, and it's just not a good recipe for fitness. So a lot of people have been having a rough time, but been talking to a lot of people that, I'll throw this to you. I know you like to talk about this idea, and we've talked about it a little bit too. So there is so much uncertainty out there in the world right now.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that people get some comfort in, and again, this varies from person to person, of course, is some people really like having that control over what they can eat, what they can exercise. And if people can do that, it gives you a little bit of power back, right? So you have a little more internal locus of control, and you can control those things. You tend to feel a little bit better. And like you were talking about exercise, again, sometimes it's hard to get going, but usually once you do get going, you feel a lot better.
Yeah. That's funny. Somebody literally, I didn't catch the name, but somebody just wrote, strangely, I lost weight during quarantine. Because there are some people that stress makes them not want to eat. Or, like you said, you find out, okay, the world is out of control. Let me control what I can control.
Exactly.
Now, personally, I remember coming to you because I was just starting to, do this partnership with you guys and promote and tell people all about you because I 100% believe what you do. And I always tell people that I do not promote anything I do not 100% invest and believe in, because otherwise you'll be able to tell right through the crap that I'm just trying to sell a product. And that's not the case here. But when I received your programs and started doing them before the quarantine, I was like, man, this is awesome. I mean, it was as simple as getting these templates. Now, this just shows you here, like getting these templates, and then you can actually click on the photo as to what your workout should be, and it will show you exactly what it is. Now, this is just the printed out version, which if I were to go to the gym and I already know what the video is that's attached to this, I can just take this to the gym and know exactly what to do for my workout, which was brilliant. I love that. I don't like necessarily to go into a gym and guess as to what I'm supposed to do. But when I have it all written out here, it's like, okay, 3 sets, this, whatever. That's what I love. And then when it flipped over to quarantine, and all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh, no gym. You guys came up with these. So great.
Yeah, so ironically enough, we had this gym free program since last summer. And, people were mostly going to the gym, so they didn't use these as much. And then once the quarantine hit, people were like, what are we going to do at home? And we're like, well, actually, we have this program where all you need is like a set of dumbbells. And I know even you, I think you didn't even have dumbbells. So you were just using some books, a gallon of water jug. Yeah, sure. Like, I think sometimes people overcomplicate things, and that I need X, Y, and Z in order to get going. Well, doing something, even if it's some burpees, or maybe if you can get outside and walk or run, that's a great start. You don't have to be super fancy with what you do, and grab some books. Maybe I've even seen people, they'll grab their dogs, put it on their
yeah, just don't drop them.
Exactly. I don't know, maybe kids too. I'm not sure about the safety of that, but you don't have to be super advanced with stuff. And some, again, consistency is more important than perfection. That's probably the biggest take-home message, because a lot of people, they think that if they're not going to be perfect, well, it sort of prevents them from even getting started. And that's sort of the wrong mindset to take into it, because really doing anything is better than just sitting around and letting the stress really get to you.
Yeah. Hey guys, I want to let you know we're going to be taking questions. I always love to include the fans. So make sure if you have a fitness question that you write it in, and then I'll be taking questions here in a minute. So what I was leading to is, from the transition from pre-quarantine to post-quarantine, and I was, advertising you guys. I remember reaching out to you going, Nick, what the heck do I do? Because I'm not right now motivated to be 100% on my workout regimen, 100% on my diet. And I was feeling like a failure. And I had to be honest with you and tell you that. And I loved your response when you were like, it's okay. It's okay. Right now, it's a crazy time. Give yourself a break and do the 80-20. So explain the 80-20. And I appreciate that because it took the stress off of it, just so you know. I wasn't feeling like, oh my gosh, I am disappointing. I was like, oh no, oh, okay, lighten up and now do this. So go, please explain the 80-20.
Sure. Yeah. So it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with exercise, right? And that some people think that everything needs to be so perfect and, hey, I need to do 3 sets of 10 of this specific exercise. And, if my gym doesn't have it, then I might as well not even go. It's sort of that whole idea. So with nutrition, it's even a better example. So let's say you go out with friends and, you have an adult beverage of your choice or something like that. Well, a lot of people, they just go, oh, well, I'm just going to throw the whole weekend away because I wasn't able to stick to it. And that's probably not the best approach. It's like, it's okay to get most of your foods from pretty good traditional healthy sources, lean proteins, healthy fats, fruits and veggies, of course. But there's room in there, of course. No one's a robot, right? You're not a
Right.
robot. I'm not a robot. I like to think that I'm a person that has a lot of self-discipline, but I'm not a robot. I like to enjoy good foods and go out to eat with my friends and family. And so it's like if you eat 80% mostly good, you have some wiggle room there where you can actually enjoy life because that's really important because we don't want people to be so robotic about things. So what can happen to a lot of people is you get so robotic with your diet, with your exercise that you burn out after a couple of months. That's not really what we're after, right? We want to be more of a sustainable lifestyle. So you can keep doing this for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, even multiple years. That's really the best end goal all
Yeah.
around.
Now, how did you start RP Strength and why? Why and how does RP Strength, how are you guys different from other diet and workout programs?
It's just the easiest answer in the world. I love fitness. Honestly, I was a runner in high school, and I got to college, and I couldn't keep running because I wasn't good enough, of course, to run like high D1 level. And I started lifting weights even more, and I met some other people at the gym. You know, just kind of quote unquote meatheads. We're just a bunch of meatheads. We love to diet. We love to train. We love to the whole idea of just getting a little bit better, right? So you go into the gym, no matter what you're doing, the goal is kind of when you come out of it, you're probably a little bit better off than you were until you just continually improve and improve and improve and improve each day. Well, that compounds on itself. And then so then months and years later, you're sort of way different than when you started. I've always been fascinated by that idea. So that's really like what led to it. My co-founder with me, met him at the University of Michigan weight room. He convinced me to go into more competitive lifting. So that's kind of how we got started. And then, over time, we were trainers in New York City for a while. And from there, we started coaching people online. And that's really when things took off. And we were like, wow, this is exactly what we want to do. And we were just helping people, mostly close friends and family, to start. And then like social media sort of grew from there and, kept drawing in more people. And then we started selling, ebooks and digital products.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a change for us.
Wow. Well, it's led you to where you are today, which is pretty spectacular because what I love about your programs is that you have PhDs and you have elite athletes that have helped put these programs together. People that really, this is their passion and they've studied it and because people just think, that you just lift certain things and you'll look great, but there is a science to everything.
100%. Yeah. So really, when you ask about like what sort of makes RP stand out, so there's tons of really great coaches out there, right? And a lot of people, come from a lot of different backgrounds, really, really great, have solid information. The one thing that sometimes can be lacking is some people just sort of look the part or, just kind of like my personal background where it's like, I've just always been into fitness and that's totally great. Well, so my colleague and a bunch of our coaches, they all have PhDs in exercise science, in nutrition, all sorts of stuff. So it's like combining the best of both worlds. We're not only are you sort of book smart, but also you're quote unquote street smart. And so you combine the best of both worlds together. And it's like when you have both of those, it's just really great because you get people that are really focused on nutrition or, training, but also they're very much in tune with what actually works. And I'm sure you've seen this before, being around this space for a long time. There's just so much of this crazy misinformation out there when it comes to all things exercise
Yep.
and nutrition. You could spend years searching for it all online. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is if you lift weights, then you're going to get big and bulky, especially for women that are scared. Not all women like to look that way. Like I like to have more of the leaner look personally. I like to have muscle, but long and lean. And I think some people get so scared to lift heavy because they think that, and not everybody's body is like that. What would you say? Because I can lift super heavy and I don't get that. What separates me from someone else, from another female, let's say, that she does end up getting more bulkier, I don't know, what's the word?
I've had that question asked probably, 100,000 times.
Okay.
So there's really good news out there. You never have to be scared to lift weights. Think of the really muscular guys in the WWE. They have trained that way so hard and so long to look like that you don't accidentally stumble upon growing a bunch of muscle.
Okay.
For anybody. It's really, really hard to do. So that's sort of point number one. It's really hard to do. You would have to really intentionally go out of your way to try to grow a bunch of muscle, especially as a female. But that being said, it turns out that lifting weights is just a great way to exercise, no doubt about it. It has so many health benefits. I can't even list them all. Like the list would be, a mile long. So we won't really go into each and every one. But the main thing is nutrition. So if you are eating a little bit more than normally you would, well, you might sort of gain a little bit of weight, and from the lifting, of course, because sometimes just lifting makes you want to eat more in general because you're burning more calories. It's totally normal. And so then you combine both of those. I think that's sort of how that myth has, not gone away, even though it's 2020. So that's kind of my best guess. But never be afraid to lift weights. And again, if you are, let's say you don't want to lift heavy weights, heavy is the relative term, of course.
Yeah.
Use something like a gym-free program where you're literally using like 10-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
And again, you're going shorter, of course, but you can really crank the intensity. You can really crank up the volume. You can just do lots of like supersets. Again, do something like that because some lifting of any sort is going to be better than no lifting at all for not only health, but body composition changes. So if you are able to lift, what you can do is you might gain a little bit of lean tissue, aka muscle, but at the same time, if you keep your body weight stable, you're also going to lose some fat tissue, and that's actually really good in terms of long-term health benefits.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was the thing that for me, I was losing like definition. Especially, the older you get, it's like your skin starts falling. And I remember reaching out to a friend of mine, freaking out, going, what do I do about this? And the first thing he said was lift heavy weights. And, I used to lift for years. And then I got hit by a car as a pedestrian. I messed up my back, my neck. I was a mess. Couldn't go anywhere near a weight room. And fortunately, Pilates helped bring me back in that respect. But I ended up losing a lot of the muscle after 2 years. So I've realized now that if I want to do Pilates, that's okay, but incorporate also weights in it too.
Yeah.
And I like changing things up. Do you do that with your program also, where you change the workouts? Like you said, go for a run or something like that.
Oh, yeah, so that's a really good question. So usually how lifting works is you get to pick the exercises that you do from like a drop-down menu. So that way you have a little bit more autonomy, and usually that's good for most people because there might be specific exercises that people don't like, and you don't want to force people to do things that they don't like because that doesn't help set you up for the long-term consistency. And so usually like every 3-4 weeks, you sort of end your program and then you'll start a new one and then you get to pick different exercises or different weights or something. So it is changing and it's not just, you're going to do this for the next year. It's like, that's probably not great. That's not going to help too many people out. And then of course we would always encourage people to do cardio on their own. And people think that cardio means you have to get up at like 5 a.m. and go running. Not at all. Go walk your dog, right? I mean, you have stay-at-home orders, but you can still walk
Yeah,
outside,
you
right?
can still, yeah, yeah. And I've been going for these long walks, long walks. They've been mentally, it's been great. And then physically, I mean, and even my dog, by the time he gets back, he's like, all right, I'm done.
Dogs or pushing little kids in strollers, something like that, fantastic workouts, and you don't have to go super crazy with it.
And there is a thing I found out because I was doing, I'm not going to say the name because it just didn't work for me, but it was a high intensity. And I remember that I went in there after coming back from Thailand. And let me just tell you, I did a little damage in Thailand because I went coconut crazy. So coconuts, when you eat the meat and everything, they're good, but they're a little fattening. And so sure enough, I came home, I was like 10 pounds heavier. I'm like, wow, because we spent a month there. And then I started going to this class and it was very high intensity and I couldn't drop the weight. And it was just, I was like sweating profusely, but I couldn't drop the weight. And then it was someone else who told me that for me, I can't do high intensity workouts and that mine is better for lifting weights. And sure enough, I'd like drop the high intensity. I started lifting weights and then and boom, like shredding.
Yeah, I think that's totally a thing where people need to experiment a little bit with the types of exercise that they do because, not everything's for everyone, right? Like some people really love to run.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Is that you, me? I don't know. I used to run, but I don't really run anymore. I like to row now for cardio. It tends to be easier on the body. You're sitting versus running. Again, some people like the high intensity stuff. Some people don't like that group setting. Some people like to lift on their own. It's okay. It's okay to experiment with different things because you have to sort of find what you like. And if you're able to find what you like and enjoy, it's a bit more intrinsic motivation to go do something that you actually care about rather than sort of dreading it, right? And if you dread something, well, what's the chances that you're going to stick with it long term?
Right.
Probably not good.
I think that's the thing too, is that people are picking workout programs that they actually hate. And it's so important to love it. But I love this because it's quick. I don't have to be in the gym for a full hour if I don't have the time. I love that it's 3 sets that's really intense. I feel it makes me feel really strong as well. So I encourage anybody out there to definitely check out rpstrength.com. Make sure you use the promo code Lilian20 because you guys are going to get 20% off. And Lilian is with one L in the middle, so don't forget that. And what else would you say to encourage people right now, Nick, to get out of the, because it's a lot of their mindset as well. They're sitting on the couch and they're like, I'm just depressed and I just don't want to do this right now. But I know that they will feel better if they do. And that's what's helped me get out of this funk that I was in. Thank God I'm out of it now. Because it was a lonely, dark place. And a lot of people are experiencing that, but working out through your programs really helped me. So I appreciate that. What would you say to kickstart people?
Okay, this is very good. So again, one, you have to have some self-compassion for yourself. It's absolutely okay to fall in some funks here and there. Again, we are humans. We're not robots. It's going to happen from time to time. The one thing that I will say, as bad as you might be feeling right now, and again, it's okay to not feel the greatest because we've been stuck inside and been so stressful, and again, like I've talked to a lot of different people. This includes some of the world's best athletes. This includes lots of just everyday men and women. The number one thing that they tend to do is they just take that first step, right?
Yeah.
So usually if you're not feeling the motivation, so remember, motivation is this fleeting thing that comes and goes. It's not always there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish we always had tons of motivation. It was like a little gas tank that we could just go and fill up. It doesn't quite work like that. But again, just take that first step and then take that next step, right? And even, let's say you need to do a workout or whatever, well, maybe just start warming up. Go for a little walk. get some endorphins going, you start feeling better. Now all of a sudden your mindset has shifted a little bit and you're like, oh, well now I'm feeling a little better. I might actually want to work out. So take the first step and just do a little bit of something because chances are you're going to feel so much better after.
Yeah. I love there's a quote that you guys have on the website. Life's too short to waste. Wait, oh, sorry. Life's too short to wonder what you're capable of.
Yeah, sure. So that's something I'm personally fascinated by. It's just like, what can we do today just to get a little bit better than yesterday, right? And if we keep doing that repeatedly over and over, the compound effect is going to build up. So, a couple months from now, your changes are going to be night and day. Because a lot of people, one last real quick thing, if I can
Of
get this in
course.
there. A lot of people really are fascinated and want instant gratification, right? We live in a world where everyone wants everything right now,
Yep.
immediately. Thank you, Amazon, for sort of, delivering everything immediately. So now everyone expects everything in their hand sort of immediately.
Yeah.
Fitness, health and fitness, unfortunately, does not work like that. Again, I wish that it did, but again, you sort of have to delay that gratification a little bit, where you know that the work you're putting in now, and this week, and next week, is sort of paying off a little bit now, but it's paying off much more in the long term.
But I will say one thing in this, if you make the commitment and the discipline, when in the long term, when you do get it and you see the results, and right now you guys can go to right after this, go to RP Strength on their Instagram and see a lot of the before and after pictures. That will definitely inspire you. Those people went through that little by little, step by step. But when you see those before and afters, you go, wow, had it just happened the next day, you wouldn't appreciate it. But the fact that it did take that course and that commitment and that, determination is what paid off even more in the end.
Totally, right? So anything in life that takes some hard work and struggle and sacrifice to get, it's that much more rewarding when you do sort of ultimately get to your end goal.
Yeah.
We actually had it might end up being our most popular like picture of all time. It was just posted, I think, Sunday night, and this girl had a 2-year transformation picture where she went from like 170 pounds down to like 130 pounds.
Wow.
So a lot of people expect that in sort of a couple months, and to really do things the right way, it doesn't quite work like that. That's 40 pounds, but that's over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
Again, now it's completely night and day. You look and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. She's stronger, she feels better, her cardio is better, her lifting's better, everything's improved. But again, results don't happen overnight, so just keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
Guys, I want to remind you, if you have any questions, make sure you get them in right now. I've seen some that we've already answered, so I'm glad that we're touching on things that people wanted to hear about anyway. But we're going to be wrapping this up. But I will say, Nick, you know, it really is a thing that fitness is just so much more. People think it's just about looking good, and there's such a mental game to it. Totally. It is totally a mental game. And I know that we can repeat it over and over and say to people, hey, you will feel better, you will do that, whatever. But some people need encouragement. They need that oomph. And that's what I'm trying to do. And so I want to let people know Saturday morning, you guys can join me. I'm actually going to be doing a IG live workout, and I'm going to be doing RP Strengths workout. Through one of these guys. So all you have to do is have your dumbbells, or like I did before, couldn't get the dumbbells, right? They all went like sold out. So
You can't, yeah.
look, my husband and I were like, we have to do something. And I'm always like, okay, there's a problem. What's the solution? And I love the show MacGyver. Remember MacGyver? All right. So I've gotten the nickname Lil Guyver. The girls at WWE would always call me Lil Guyver, because if there was something that couldn't figure out, I would always find a way. And it's from that show. I just watched it all the time. But that's when the water jugs came to my mind. And I was like, okay, we're just going to do the water jugs. They have some weight to them. And I took a Swifter, the handle off a Swifter or off a broom, and put it between the water jugs. Now I had a bar. Like, there's just so much that you can adapt.
Totally. It doesn't have to be fancy. I mean, again, a water jug, a book, a 5, 10 pound object, whatever it is. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a dumbbell. Those are just a nice convenience. But
Somebody just literally asked again. The names are flying by, so forgive me. I'm not seeing the names, and I don't think they put it in the question box. But they just asked. They said that they have a back and spinal injury. So what can they do for that? Because I know from what I went through, how that can be just so hurtful.
Yes, that's a little bit of a tricky one. So a lot of it would be like, what does your physical therapist say, right? Because they're going to be the best person to say, hey, you know what? So based on your injury, you can't do X, Y, and Z, but you can do A, B, C. And I don't exactly know what A, B, and C might be for each person because each injury is going to be a little bit different. And I don't know where they're at in sort of their recovery process. But again, you sort of ask your doctor, ask your physical therapist, like, hey, what are some exercises that you recommend that I can do now? Because usually the best thing to do when you have an injury, and this isn't necessarily my area of expertise, so I don't want to sort of step outside of that.
Yeah, because I did find the question, just to be specific. It was from Iconic Bella, who said, is it possible to lift while suffering from neck and spinal back injury?
Sure. So it's absolutely possible. Again, you might have to modify things. So, and again, it might be tough because you might not have access to a gym. Usually in gyms, they have machines. Usually are a little bit easier if you're coming back from an injury. But again, a lot of it's just sort of ask your physical therapist, like, hey, what are some things you can recommend? Because typically what you want to do if you have an injury or if you're recovering from one is find exercises that don't give you any pain, right? So the
Right.
last thing you do is do something that's really painful and might sort of set your recovery process back a little bit. So for example, my mom, she had a little hip injury. And so I was like, Mom, you can't be squatting. You can't be doing lunges. Like maybe you'll have to go for a bike ride.
Right.
Maybe you'll just have to walk. And I think she had to take a week or two off of even like walking. And I know that stinks. But again, the last thing you want to do is keep aggravating what's already hurt. And then something that might be a month recovery process, will you keep agitating it along the way, then becomes 2 months or 3 months
Yeah.
or something that lingers long term. So you just want to be real careful about
Yeah,
what you
I
do.
would say because I suffered from back, lightweight. It's all about getting mobility again. Be careful, like for example, deadlifts. I wouldn't do that right now because that's definitely does work a lot of the back as well. And listen to your body. Like he just said, if you start feeling anything, stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one for sure. Yep. Just if you feel a little twinge or something doesn't feel quite right, just play it safe and go ahead and stop and maybe try something else. And again, if you try a couple things and they're all not feeling great, well, maybe just call it for the day and go for a little walk or something. Or you just say, hey, you know what? Today is just not kind of the day, and you just
Yeah.
maybe back up tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to finish it where it says 562 Pistolero says, true that. True that. Thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate it. And for any of you guys out there, seriously, just go to rpstrength.com. Make sure you use the promo code Lilian 20% off. That's the number 20. And check it all out. Go to RP Strength on Instagram. You will see the before and after pictures, which will inspire you. Those before and after pictures, seriously, are no joke. There's something about looking at that and going, damn it, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, so if I can close here real quick.
Yeah.
So totally, those are great for inspiration, a little bit of motivation too. And so again, just don't be surprised if in a few days or something, a little bit of that inspiration or something wears off. Totally normal. Again, no athlete, even the best in the world, they're not always motivated, right? But they usually have the discipline and habits to keep going.
Yeah.
So again, use it as your spark to get going, right? To take that first step. And once you get going a little bit, chances are you're going to start feeling better about yourself and you'll be more likely to continue. Again, if people do have questions, right, if you don't feel comfortable asking here, just go over to RP Strength on Instagram, shoot us a DM. We'd love to help answer any questions that you have because, again, if we can help people out, get started or, continue on or, fight through something, especially quarantine, it's just so crazy right now.
Yeah.
We'd love to help and answer questions, all that good stuff.
I love that because literally I have Christopher Joseph that's saying mental peace is hugely critical in getting physically in shape. It is. And right now with everything that is going on, trust me though, if you guys can move past that mental state of, I don't want to do this because I'm depressed, and you push past that and you work out, you're going to be like, thank God I did this because I'm depressed.
Have you ever had a workout where you got done and you're just like, wow, that was just a bad idea?
Never. Never.
It
Never,
doesn't
never.
exist.
And you know, the best thing that I've done too, sometimes when I can't get through those workouts or I get there and I go, oh, I'm not feeling it. As soon as I put music, or if you go to on YouTube, let me just give you guys a secret. Just put motivational or inspirational workout video. Trust me, you're going to get these videos that have this amazing music with all of these sayings from inspirational people that are motivating you. Next thing you know, you're going to be lifting for, I mean, so heavy, so strong, and feeling so empowered. So that's my little trick that I do. Sometimes when I'm not feeling it, I put that in my ear.
Totally. I absolutely do that from time to time as well. Or, even, so say you go for a walk or something, right? Which is something as simple as that, crank on a podcast or an audio book, like something that you enjoy. And again,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be, mathematics or anything like that. It can just be something fun and enjoyable. And that way you sort of get the best of both worlds. You're doing something physical and you get a little, stimulation mentally, and you're just going to feel good.
I love it. Well, guys, don't forget, Saturday, I'm going to be doing RP Strengths live workout on Saturday morning. I will be sending out the exact times and all of that. So be prepared either with your workout bands or weights or your water jugs. It doesn't matter. Just come along and join me because it really will make you feel better and we can all have fun. But thank you, Nick, for your program. Thank you for coming on here. And we're going to be having some exciting news, guys, by the way, as we continue this partnership. That I love you guys and everything that you're doing at RP Strength. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be on here. Would love to help answer any other questions. So thank
Cool.
you
So
so
make
much.
sure you guys DM him over at RP Strength on Instagram. All right. Take care. Bye, Nick. All right, guys. Let's see. There we go. All right. So you heard it. I hope you guys are a little bit more inspired. That's what it takes. Just a little bit. It's just all coming together, talking about it, helping each other out. But trust me, especially during this time, you need to get off the couch and do something, whether it's just sit-ups, whether it's just push-ups, burpees, like he mentioned, just something. It will start motivating you and start getting you in a headspace that you will feel much, much better. Even if you're sitting down and you start doing this while you're watching TV, just lifting your legs. Trust me, you're using your core right there and you will start feeling better. Okay, so join me on Saturday. I will be sending you guys more information. But in the meantime, rpstrength.com, use that promo code Lilian with one L in the middle, 20, the number 20. That's for 20% off, okay? I love you. I will promise to connect with you guys even more and more coming up. I needed a little bit of time to get my own headspace in the right place. And by the way, Chasing Glory and me, we are moving. We're moving across town. So there's going to be a whole new location. That's why right now Chasing Glory is on hold. And we will be back stronger than ever. But yeah, we're moving into a new chapter. Kind of excited about it. All right. I love you guys. Much peace, love, and passion. And remember to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. Mwah. Bye, guys. Make it a good day.